Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel Creative Grandma. Today's crochet tutorial is going to be for part 1 of the watercolor throw. This Afghan was made using the beautiful cotton pastel by Ice Yarns. This Afghan measures 40 by 51 inches and can be customized to whichever size you want. So for part 1, I'm going to show you how to get started on this Afghan, and I'm going to show you how to make the blocks. And then in part 2, I'll be back with the second video to show you how to join your blocks and put it together into the Afghan and add your border. So let's get started. So for this project today, you're going to need 35 balls of the cotton pastel yarn by Ice Yarns. Now these are a little bit smaller skeins, that's why it uses so much. Now with this yarn, you can customize this Afghan. Every ball of yarn, so for one ball of yarn, let me move this one out of here, you're going to get 2 full-size blocks, and then you're going to get a partial block. So you're going to end up getting 2 full 5 3/4 inch blocks. They measure 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So if you're trying to figure out what size you want to make your Afghan, whether you want to make it smaller for just like a little tiny throw, or if you want to make it the size I'm making it, you're going to need 35 balls. And if you want to make it even larger, then you're going to need even more yarn. But that's a way of you figuring out how many balls of yarn you want to order for your Afghan. Now the other thing about Ice Yarns is Ice Yarns sells their yarn in packs. So you can't just buy 3 of this color or 3 of that color. This yarn comes 8 balls to a pack. So my suggestion is, if you want to make it the most affordable way, is to pick 5 of the colors you like best and just go with 5 colors, which would be 5 packs of 8, and you would end up with 40 balls of yarn, which would give you extra yarn if you want to make a couple extra squares, make it bigger, or maybe put a wider border on it. It's up to you. So that is how Ice Yarns works with ordering yarn. It comes in a pack of 8. So again, my suggestion would be to pick the 5 prettiest colors that you like best for your Afghan. So when you go on Ice Yarns website, this is what you're going to see. I'm going to have a special link in the description box underneath this video. You can click that link and it will take you directly to Ice Yarns website. Now these colors up here, I think these are new. I didn't see them, or I chose to go with the brighter colors. So this is where you would choose whichever colors you like for your Afghan, so you have a total of at least 35 balls of yarn. This yarn is $1.12 per ball. It comes in a pack of 8, which would make it $8.99 a pack. It's 77% cotton, 23% acrylic. They're 50-gram balls, or 1.76 ounces, 70 meters, or 76 yards per ball. So if you're using something else in the way of a 4 worsted weight yarn, then go with the yardage, because that is the best way to figure out how much you need of a different yarn. So you would take the 76 yards times 35, and that would give you the yardage you would need for making the Afghan. So those are the beautiful colors available from Ice Yarns. So you're going to need 35 balls of yarn, or 5 packs, and you're also going to need a size H8 or 5 millimeter crochet hook and a yarn needle to weave in those ends. So let's get started with part 1, and I'm going to show you how to make the in between the stitches block, and then we're going to add this cross double crochet round for the very last round. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's get started. To begin our project, we're going to start making our squares. Now I'm starting with my green, yellow, and white multicolored. So I already attached my yarn to my hook. We're going to begin with a chain 4, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, and that creates your first chain. Yarn over, pull through, that's 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip the first 3 chain. You're going to insert into that 4th chain from hook, and you're going to slip stitch and form a ring. So now we have our little ring, and we're going to be working our stitches right in the center of the ring. Now when I work my stitches, I'll take this little bit of extra yarn and I'll hold it right up against the edge of my work, and I'll be working through the center of the ring and underneath and around that piece of thread. That way you're weaving it in as you go. To start, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And this beginning chain 3 will count as your first double crochet. Now we're going to work 2 more double crochet into the center of that ring, yarn over, insert into the center of the ring, and work 2 double crochet. There's 1, yarn over, insert back into the center of that same ring, work a 2nd double crochet. So when you look at your work, you have your beginning chain 3 and then 2 double crochet in the center of that ring. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to start our repeat. We're going to work 3 double crochet into the center of the ring, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do that 3 times, all in the center of that ring. So let's begin. Yarn over, insert into the center of the ring, work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and that creates your corner. So now we need to do that 2 more times, so let's do it together. Yarn over, insert into the center of that ring, work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 2 for the corner. 1, 2, and you can see how your square is starting to form. You have 3 sides finished. Now we're going to do our 4th side. Yarn over, insert into the center of that ring, work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2 for the corner. Your 4th side is finished, and now we're going to join. We're going to join with the slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3. Count up 1, 2, 3, insert your hook right into the top of that chain, yarn over, pull through that chain, and pull through the loop on your hook. You just slip stitched your round together. So round 1 is finished, and you can see we have a chain 3 for the first double crochet, 2 double crochet, a chain 2, and then we work 3 double crochet, chain 2 3 times around, and join with the slip stitch. So now when I work a square, I always start in my corner. So now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, into the next stitch, and then into that chain 2 space, so we can start the next round in the corner. So we're going to skip the first stitch, insert into the top of the next stitch, and I like to go under both of the top loops, slip stitch, yarn over, pull it through that stitch, pull it through the loop on your hook. We're going to insert into the top of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. Now we still need to get to this corner chain 2 space, so insert into the corner chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through that space, and pull through the loop on your hook. We're going to start with the chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to work 1 more double crochet into that same corner chain 2 space, yarn over, insert into that corner chain 2, work 1 double crochet. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to work 2 more double crochet into this same corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert into that same corner chain 2, work 2 double crochet. 1 and 2, and your corner is made. So now we're going to work across to the next corner, but with this pattern we're going to be working right in between the stitches. We're not going into the top, we're going down here in between the stitches. So let's begin. Yarn over, insert in between the first and second stitch. So you're going right between the post of the stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, insert between the next 2 stitches. You're going right between the 2 posts of those next 2 stitches, work a double crochet. And that's all there is to working across the row. So now we're getting ready to start the repeat. So if you need help, this is where you'll click back on the video to where I say this is the start of the repeat of round 2 and work until I say this is the end of the repeat. So let's begin. We're going to work 2 double crochet, a chain 2, and 2 double crochet all into this corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert into the corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to work 2 more double crochet into the same corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Now we're going to work 1 double crochet between each stitch across to the next corner. Yarn over, skip that first stitch, insert between the first and second stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, insert between the next 2 stitches, right between the post of those stitches, work a double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Yarn over, you're over at the corner chain 2 space. This is the start of the repeat. We're going to work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2 into that corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, insert back into that same corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Now you're going to work 1 double crochet between each stitch across to the next corner chain 2 space. So as your block gets bigger, you're going to have more and more stitches. So say you make this block and you have 6 stitches, then you're going to be going in between each one of those stitches across. As many stitches as there is, you're just going in between those stitches. So yarn over, insert between the first 2 stitches, work a double crochet. Yarn over, insert between the next 2 stitches, work a double crochet. And again, as your block gets larger, you're going to have more stitches to work in between until you get to the corner. So now we're over at the corner, so I'm just going to go ahead and work it right with you. We're going to work 2 double crochet into the corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to work 2 more double crochet into the same corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert into that corner chain 2, work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Now we're going to work 1 double crochet between each of the stitches across to that corner. Yarn over, insert between the first 2 stitches, work a double crochet. Yarn over, insert between the next 2 stitches, work a double crochet. So now we're at the end of round 2. We have our beginning chain 3. So all we're going to do is go ahead and slip stitch our round together. We're going to count up to the top of that beginning chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert into the top of that chain and slip stitch. Round 2 is finished. So now you're going to go ahead and repeat round 2 2 more times. So you're just going to repeat what I showed you before. I'm going to go ahead and get you started. You want to start each round in the corner chain 2 space. So you're going to skip this first stitch, insert into the next stitch, slip stitch. Insert into the corner chain 2 space and slip stitch. Now you're ready to begin round 3, and we're just going to repeat round 2. So I'm going to go ahead and work one side with you, and then you can continue the rest of round 3 and then repeat the same method for round 4. So let's begin. You're going to chain 3. This counts as the first double crochet. Yarn over, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 2, yarn over, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Now you're going to work 1 double crochet between each one of the stitches across to the next corner. Yarn over, insert between the first 2 stitches, work a double crochet. So very easy method. Double crochet between the next 2 stitches, double crochet between the next 2 stitches, and I'm just going to repeat 1 double crochet between each one of the stitches across to that next corner. So it's the same method as round 2, only you're going to have more and more stitches with each round you do. So go ahead and work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the corner, and then work 1 double crochet between each of those stitches until you get to the next corner. Finish round 3 and then go ahead and repeat the same thing for round 4, and I'll meet you at the end of round 4. So I'm over at the end of round 4. This is what your work should look like. You should have 2 double crochet, a chain 2, and 2 double crochet in each corner of those 2 rounds you just did, and then 1 double crochet between each stitch across to that next corner, and each round you have more stitches. So now I'm just going to go ahead and join my round. I'm going to count up to the top of that beginning chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook and slip stitch. So we have 1 round to go, so we're getting ready to begin round 5. And again, I start all my rounds in the corner, so I'm going to skip this joining stitch, insert into the top of that next stitch, and I like to go under the top 2 loops and slip stitch, insert into the chain 2 space of the corner and slip stitch. So now we're ready to begin round 5. We're going to start with the chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and again that counts as our first double crochet. Yarn over, insert back into that corner chain 2, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 2, yarn over, insert back into that same corner chain 2 space and work 2 more double crochet. 1 and 2. Now for this round we're going to be working a cross double crochet, which consists of working in 2 stitches. We're going to skip the first stitch, double crochet into the second stitch, and then come back to the front of the work and double crochet into the first stitch that we skipped. And then you're going to repeat. You're going to skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next, and then you're going to come back with your hook and double crochet into the skip stitch, and we're going to do that across to the next corner. So let's begin. Yarn over, skip the first stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, and you're going into the top 2 loops of the skip stitch, work a double crochet. Your cross double crochet is made. So we're going to continue that across to the next corner. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, going under the top 2 loops, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert under the top 2 loops of that skip stitch, work a double crochet. And you can see how it's forming the cross double crochet stitches. So let's go ahead and work across to the corner. You're going to yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert under the top 2 loops of the skip stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert under the top 2 loops of that skip stitch, work a double crochet. We have 2 to go. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert under the top 2 loops, and work a double crochet. When you look at your work, you'll see we have 2 more stitches, so we have 1 more cross double crochet to make. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert into the top of the stitch, work a double crochet. So that's all there is to it. You start with a chain 3 when you start, which counts as the first double crochet, and when you work the remaining 3 corners, you're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So let me work across one more side with you, and then you can finish on your own. You're going to yarn over, insert into the corner chain 2 space, and again this is the start of the repeat. Work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, work 2 more double crochet, 1 and 2. Now we're going to go ahead and work our cross double crochet across the side of our work. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, go into the top of that first stitch, work a double crochet. Your cross double crochet is made. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to your front of your work, insert under the top 2 loops of that skip stitch, work a double crochet. And we're just going to repeat that across to the next corner. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert underneath the top 2 loops, work a double crochet. And again, you can see how those stitches cross, and form your cross double crochet stitches. So we have 3 more to go. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert under the top 2 loops of the skip stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the top of the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert under the top 2 loops of that skip stitch, work a double crochet. We have 1 more to go, and then we're at our corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Yarn over, bring your hook back to the front of the work, insert into the top of that stitch, work a double crochet. And then you can see we're back over to that corner chain 2 space, so that is the end of the repeat. So when you look at your work, you're going to start at the corner right here. You're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into that corner chain 2 space, and then you're going to work your cross double crochet stitches across the top of the stitches down to the next corner chain 2 space. So if you need help, click back on the video, go ahead and repeat that around your remaining 2 sides. I'll meet you at the end of round 5. I'm over at the end of round 5. So now, since we're back over to the end of round 5, we're just going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3. Count up 1, 2, 3, insert into the top of that chain 3 and slip stitch. Our block is finished, so I'm just going to fasten off. Now with this yarn, it's really hard to fasten off the way I'm used to. I'm used to chaining 2, but I found that when I chain 2, it's kind of like a bulky yarn, and sometimes it gets caught and then it breaks the thread really close. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to yarn over once, pull it through the loop, and then pull my yarn out. And then I just tighten it up and kind of pull. But be careful how hard you pull so you don't break that off. Our block is finished. So now your task is to get all your blocks made up, determine how big you want to make that afghan, and then make that many blocks to whichever size you want. And if you have extra yarn, you can always increase that afghan size and make it bigger. So let me show you my samples. So again, I'm using all the different colors. Here's the pink and green. And again, they come out differently how you make them. So I made some of those, and then I made some of the blue and green ones. So it's just going to all blend together. So that's that one, and then I made some of the other purple and green. So just a variety of different colors. You just have to figure out what colors you like best. Let me grab a few more here. Here's another one. And again, every time you make one of these squares, they're going to look a little different. Now this is my favorite color, and I think this is out of stock because it wasn't on the website when I got back on, because I wanted to get more of this. So hopefully that will be in soon. So just keep watching Ice Yarn's website if you want to get this more rainbowish pastel color. So again, these are some of the colors that I'm making. So now let me show you the other samples. These are the cotton pastels and all these wonderful colors. So then again, if you want to make it out of something that you have in your yarn stash and you prefer to make it with like a 4 medium worsted weight yarn, you can make it with a lightweight yarn. Just drop your hook size down, or even with this block, you can bump that hook size up if you want it a little bit lacier to make the square a little bit bigger. Now this is made using 3 different colors. I'm using the dark color in the center, and then the white, and then the medium blue, and then I bring that darker blue out, and I finish with that white cross stitch border. So if you can imagine these put together side by side, it would make a gorgeous afghan, and you can customize these colors to suit your home decor. Now I've been wanting to make something like this for a long time, just a mismatch of every color available in a certain yarn. And this just had that look that I wanted. I love rainbow, you know, bright colors, and I just really wanted something to cheer me up right now. So I love how this is coming out. But not everybody likes, you know, such a splash of mix match colors. That's why I made these samples. So here's the one sample. And then again, I made this sample where this yarn I don't think is available anymore. This was at Stitch Studio yarn, and I was hoping Premier website had it, but they didn't. They only had the solid colors. But this is a beautiful, kind of like a child baby colors, beautiful soft pastel multicolor. So this one, it just kind of like brings those colors out from the center and just keeps going and going and getting larger and larger, and separating the colors with that white just adds a more accent to the multicolor. So this would be beautiful no matter what multicolor you use. Just match that multicolor up with something that's kind of high contrasting to really make the multicolor, you know, pop out if you choose to use a design something like this. But if you look at all the samples here, you're going to use the same pattern, but you're going to get so many different looks of just how you put your color. Even though it's the same pattern, it's going to look completely different depending on how you choose to put your colors in. So you're kind of designing your own blanket with a vision that you see just based on your colors, even though it's the same pattern. So it gets your creative juices flowing. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the description box underneath this video. You can click that link. It'll take you right to the actual page where this yarn is, and you can see all the colors. You can choose them all. You can choose just whichever colors you prefer, or again, you can just choose a total different type of yarn from your own yarn stash. So I'm going to go ahead and continue making all my blocks. When I get them all made, I'll be back with part 2 and show you everything you need to know to put our Afghan together and then add our finishing border. So until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting, everyone.